It's Wednesday, Water Cooler Wednesday. My name is Dion Branch, and I am with EXP Realty. And I have my co-host and Dag. I was like, I wasn't gonna point, but I was like, all right. Lisa White.
Hey everybody. No, she didn't say my last name. Look, it's Lisa House Money Mama. That's all y'all need to know.
Right,
I'm trying to, and don't give my real government name either,
right.
because we
Get the
don't need to
full
know that.
name. Right, the full name. All right.
No, thank you.
And this week we have a special guest with us. We have Beverly Sands. Woo! Thank you, Beverly. So, Beverly's been in the financial industry for 27 years, and she's gonna with educating people, and so she's gonna come in today and educate us because we need to understand about our finances and how
Mhm.
to budget to make sure that when we want to purchase a home, what are some of the things that we could do in order to prepare to get financially ready.
That's right. Because remember
Oh.
last week when we talked about the self-employed people and everything, we kind of discussed how you need to be prepared. You need to get ready. So
Right.
this is still kind of kicking off from that. The same thing. We've been in the same vein this week to talk about preparations, what you need to do before you even come and see me and Dion.
Exactly, exactly. Everybody's taught thinks that, oh, I'm gonna get buy a house with no money. You need some money.
Something. You need something.
You need some money. So you have to have some skin in the game in some way. And so,
Yeah.
sometimes we got to figure out, how do I get that? How do I get that skin in the game? How,
Hmm.
so Miss Beverly, I think you were sharing with us that you worked with some people in the past.
Yes, I actually had the privilege to work with a couple about 5, 6 years ago. They wanted to buy a house and they went and they couldn't qualify. And my name and number, and they said, okay, Beverly, what do we need to do? And I told them, I said, we need to plan, we need to put ourselves on a budget so we could see what's on. And the one thing I tell people is you have to use it like we have to see where you are so tell you where you need to go.
There
And
you go.
budgeting is like exercising. I tell people budgeting and exercising are one and the same because we all start at the beginning of the year. We're going to exercise. We're going to do this, but then we fall
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
off because we
Yeah.
forget the end goal. And I tell people
Right.
when you're budgeting, you have to have the end goal in mind. That makes the process or the journey a lot easier. And
Yeah.
I was talking to the one client. They were in debt like 29, about $40,000 in debt. They
Okay.
couldn't. They were working two jobs, making about $65,000. So we know exactly what that, and I
Hmm.
told them we have to sit down, we have to put a game plan in place. But the first thing I want you to do is for the next month, write down every penny that comes out of your wallet, everything
Yeah.
that
Every
happens,
penny.
every
Every
penny. If you go buy a candy bar, write that down. Because
Dang.
see what happens is people don't understand how much they're spending. I sat
Yeah.
down with a client the other day and they were spending $350 a month going out to eat because they were too lazy to cook.
Yeah.
So you got three
Yeah,
hundred and
like I'm
fifty.
a witness.
Yeah.
So you're paying $350 a month, and then you got people that go to Starbucks, people that go to Dunkin'
Yeah.
Donuts, people that they have their other extracurricular activities. I told one couple, I said, "You're paying $300 a month for cable. Can we cut the cable down a little bit?" So we
Husband
basically want
saying
to
no.
see where we want to see
I'm
where
Right.
the
just
money
saying. I already
See where
asked.
the money is going. You already asked. So we see where the money is going and how we can cut. Because the bottom line is, something Lisa said to me a while back, people have to know why they're doing what they're doing. She wants to know why you want to buy this house. So why do you want to go on the budget? Purpose for going on the budget. What's your end story? And once we know what the end story is, then I can come in as a coach. And when you get weary, I can say, well, we know what the end story is. So
Yeah.
let's keep going and let's try to make it happen. But this couple with Shay, we had to take the credit cards and put them in a jar, put water on them, and put it in the freezer. And people are like, what? Because
Now that's a coach.
spontaneously, people buy, spontaneously. Look at something on TV and say, you know what? I want that. No, do you need that? Is that something you truly need? So if you have to take it out of the freezer, it might take it a while to unfold. And you could think about it. By the time you think about it, you put it back in the freezer. I don't need that. So it's just different little things that we have to do. Because tell people, if you're spending all of your money to bills, and you're running short somewhere. So you have a lot of people that actually spend credit cards and they live on cards. So we have to teach them how to get off of the credit cards and just have one or two.
Yeah.
When
so I know last year, at the end of last year, I did an exercise myself where I just kind of if you bank, with the bank, you can download all your transactions from the year into a spreadsheet.
Yes.
And so because I'm a little more tech savvy, I was able to kind of pivot and put it into a format, and I could see how much I spent on Amazon. I'm just gonna do like that. I asked them, my family, if I could shut Amazon down. They were like, no, that it was the same as the cable. No.
Same as the cable, right?
but it was up there. So, we have to realize that it's very easy for us to, especially nowadays with like Amazon and, you could easily order online.
Everything online, DoorDash, and what's that other thing where they bring your groceries and your food? They go shopping for you.
Right, Instacart, Grubhub. Like we're in this era right now, especially due to COVID, that we got lazy and going out. So now we just say, "Oh, bring it to us." But we have to think about those things because even like my daughter was like, "Oh, I ordered some ice cream." And so then I said, "Oh, let me see." So I went, and it was like it came to $12 for 2 scoops of ice cream. I was like, no, I don't need that ice cream that bad. Right. So I thought about it, but other people don't. You just kind of, we've gotten used to that. So that's very important for us to kind of consider, to, like you said, to pause. Unfortunately, like now just freezing the credit card is not the only thing. We got to really do some constraints, right?
Right. Because if you don't, then once you get where you want, you'll end up back in the same situation again. So you have to change your spending habits. And that's why I tell people we start from here and we do it slowly, because if you do it fast, it's almost like losing weight really fast. Then you gain it back. You do it slowly, as far as with the budgeting and things of that nature, then it becomes a part of your lifestyle. And that's what we're ultimately trying to do, make it become part of your lifestyle, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's good. So I think for a lot of people, maybe this is something we can kind of talk about, because obviously this being Water Cooler Wednesday about real estate. one of the things that a lot of our people are going to be looking at is their why is going to have something to do with their home, that they want to become homeowners. Um, and one of the things I found also is that sometimes that why has to do with not just the home ownership, but what that home ownership may represent. I had somebody tell me, I'm not going to mention this person's name, but I had somebody tell me that I need to leave this place because there's no reason why I should have to use an umbrella while I'm sitting on the toilet because my landlord is so petty that they will not fix, patch up the holes in the roof.
Wow.
And I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Like it's not funny at all. It's not funny. But I think that what you said about having a why is extremely, extremely important. But I also think it's real. You have to, like, for example, I'd like to hear you talk a little bit about what some of those numbers look like for the people that you helped, a couple of years ago, and even some of the people you're still helping now, because I know you didn't just do that one couple. You help people just all the time in general. What are some of the things that you see as being roadblocks with people, and then what are some of the things that for the people who you've helped you get mortgage ready, that they were able to do, like, say, for example, maybe if there might have been a big obstacle that they felt that they had, then how did they get past it? That kind of thing. Anything like that you can share, because your experiences, your experience helps us to really kind of internalize and better understand what people go through and what they encounter when they're on that journey. Because unfortunately, most times people are not meeting us at that point, because they feel like, people don't want to present themselves to you because they feel like you got so much together and they don't. So they trying to get stuff together so they can present themselves to you. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we're not part of this process that you talked about.
So they think that, and they may think they're ready, but they didn't plan correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, in a sense?
Mm-hmm. Right. And on top of that, to you guys' defense, they get misguided information out there too, because they think they can go, and because they have a certain amount of money or they have a certain amount of credit out there, and they can qualify for anything. And and I think that was part of the roadblock couple, because when they started, the realtor told them you had to have XYZ place before you can qualify for a home. And mind you, the home that they were looking at was about $240,000, $250,000.
Okay.
But they had debt, and their credit was at the 400 mark. We had to work, and they had, for instance, this couple had credit, had stuff out there on the credit that they paid, that they hadn't dealt with. And I had to go dive in and had to get the number and talk to them and see how we can make a payment plan or get it paid off, because a lot of times people think, well, if I don't have to deal with that, then it basically goes. And I think the concept of, I tell my clients, look at your credit every year out there. But a lot of times people don't only look when they get ready to buy a car or they get ready to buy a house.
Yeah.
And when they look, and then when they look at it, they say, they go to a person that's doing loan, they think you guys can work miracles, and you can't. You can only work with what they give you.
Exactly.
Because they come back frustrated, and then I have to hear all this stuff. And I'm like, but it's like drawing a picture. You gave them the outline, and then they're trying to fill it in for you, but they can't fill it in because it's not where it needs to be. So I think
you want your picture to look like Santa Claus, but you gave us an outline of JJ from Good Times.
Right. So we got a question. Let's go. We got a question going on. So someone says, how far out should we plan when wanting to buy a home?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. one of the things I tell people is that, I think you should have three savings. You should have a emergency fund that's 6 months out. It should be 6 months
Mhm.
of your income so that if you lose your job, if anything happens, you got money to keep paying bills until you find another job. Well, a
Okay.
house, a car, things of that nature, that's anywhere that's those are things that you're going to purchase in the next 2 to 5 years. So if you can get 2 to 5 years, then that would be and then the next time anything over that, as far as retirement and things of that nature, those are long-term goals. But I tell
Okay.
people for a home, you should actually look within 2 to 5 years. And you got some people out there that have been doing the narrow, and they might be ready before then. But you got
Yeah.
other people that have some work that need to be done, and they don't know that there's work that need to be done until they go pull things and try and see what's out there so that they know what they need to do.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And last week, Steve Burris, from with our tax guy, he said the same thing. 2 years, especially if you're self-employed, so that it gives you enough time to get your taxes in order for self-employed people. And then now we're saying for budgeting, you need at least 2 years to get yourself together to
Exactly.
budget.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, I
Exactly.
guess that's kind of telling us just in general for home purchasing is not something you take lightly. For most people, this is going to be the largest transaction of your whole entire
Entire
life.
life. Right.
Yeah, when else will you go and spend $200,000 or $300,000? And the way the values are going, we're going to be in the $400,000 for some people too.
Right.
That you're spending on a home. So you want to take something like that lightly. You don't. One, you don't want to lose it, and if you take it lightly, it's possible that you could set yourself up where you're not prepared to succeed. So success doesn't just happen. Success is something that people have worked for. You just haven't seen all the work. You
Hmm.
you know
Right.
Oh, yeah, you did that. How you do that? Oh, girl, it was easy. Yeah.
right. But you weren't saying it was easy 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Right, while you were preparing, and right, it was easy. That's what they tell us all the time. Oh, girl, I didn't do nothing. It was easy. They gave me no money down. I didn't do anything. I didn't pay nothing. Right.
Right. Yeah, but we in this every day. We know better
Right.
than that.
We
Right.
know, right? So that's what your friends are telling you, but it does. Right, it takes some work. So friends don't tell you everything. Remember that.
They don't tell
Right.
you everything. They don't
Not
tell you the
everything.
struggle.
Right.
Tell people, and I tell people, I say, when you go out there and get that much, and it's going to be $1,200, $1,500. That's a new bill that has to go into your flow of money every month, and you're not that. A lot of people say, well, if I was paying $1,200 for rent, then I can pay $1,200 for a mortgage. I say, okay, then who pays for the water heater when it breaks?
When it
Who
breaks
pays for
down.
the
Right.
right? Who pays for things when it go wrong in your house? You don't have a lord anymore. You are
Right.
your landlord. So that's why it's detrimental to be prepared so that when you go into it, you don't have to worry about losing. You don't have to worry about doing other things.
So I was talking to somebody a little bit earlier today, who we're going to get the same lady that we were discussing before we actually logged on to go live. And she was asking me, okay, well, what do you need? What should I be getting ready for? As far as like funds and things like that. And so I told her, on the average, you probably want to look at having about 4% of your purchase price. So, like for example, if you're doing a $200,000 loan, then that's going to be around $8,000 that you want to have already saved up, and ready to go when it's time for you to actually purchase the home. So I mean, keeping in mind things like that, that is this a real thing. Sometimes we actually get people that come in and they literally have a negative balance in their checking account. and they send me that.
Yeah.
I think you're not really ready if I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I think you're not really ready if you're sending me a bank account with negative, because that means that tells me they ain't seen Beverly Sims because they haven't prepared.
Mhm.
They don't have the money in the account. They the credit is could use some work. And we can work with people that don't have the best credit because sometimes you have things happen that are just hard to get out from under. And I understand, and sometimes you have situations where you don't really want to wait because of how dire your situation might be. Or maybe like for some people, especially right now during this pandemic, you have a lot of transference of stuff. So you have people, they were landlords and now they said, listen, I'm done with all this. My tenants haven't paid rent in a year. This is not working. I'm selling the house. So, hey, I just sold this house. You got 60 days. You need to leave.
Yeah. Right.
And then, what do?
Right.
You can go, I guess, and rent someplace else again. But I mean, if you've been working on it, then
But they got to think about that too, because I've even seen where landlords who you're trying to get a rental, they still want you to have a 650, 680.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and I'm trying to ask the person, I said, okay, well, by the time you have a 680, you should just go on and get a house.
Go and buy it. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But
So not that we're tax experts, but that still would be something that definitely would be a benefit to you, because even though you are the person that's responsible for everything, you're also the person that receives the benefits financially, because when you file your taxes, now there are additional items that you'll be able to deduct. You have as deductions, which is going to decrease your tax liability overall. So you do definitely get some benefit from being a homeowner,
right,
And
right.
another thing that is kind of like it's intangible, but you actually, so credit, we talked about credit before, because we brought on Maurice several times. He's our credit restoration specialist, but I'm sure he would agree with this. One of the things about credit is that they like to see a variety of stuff. Like, I always liken it to a salad. Nobody wants a salad that's just got lettuce in it. You want lettuce, cucumbers, tomatoes, croutons. You want a lot of stuff in your salad. Credit is the same way. In credit, they don't want to just see your, $300 revolving account with Capital One. They want to see some revolving accounts. They want to see some installment accounts. And when you get a mortgage on there, that's actually something that they want to see as well, so that it actually ends up helping your credit when you get into a mortgage, because it's a different type of trade line that's now going to be reporting to your credit report. So it's even helpful in that way. It has a number of different benefits, that are attached to it, but it definitely has a lot of responsibilities that are attached to it as well. So you want to, kind of balance that out and even it, in your mind.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted to bring up the thought that some people don't know that they could use their 401k to purchase a home. So if you're, in a company that is, you're pulling money out for your retirement, you can borrow or pull money, withdraw money from your 401k without penalty, to purchase your first home. It's like to purchase a home that you're going to live in.
Live in, right. It's got to be a primary residence.
It has to be your primary residence. So when you're thinking about where do I get this money from, that is definitely an option for you as well. So
yeah, that's a good point, Dion. Any other things that you suggested, Ms. Beverly, in regards to where people get the money from? I know you talked a bit about saving. Anything else that you've suggested over the years? I don't know if I could do that whole credit card in the iceberg.
But I had to do it for them because they didn't, and just to the point, a lot of people do their finances the way they saw their parents do their finances. So it's a hereditary thing that goes from generation to generation to generation. But I've had a couple people they weren't ready, but they've had like ends that was transferred down to them that afforded them the opportunity to go and buy something and do something at that point. But I tell people the easiest way, Dion, yes, you can get from your 401k. I've had a couple people to go and pull that out, and then they just they just pay it back basically. But the challenge with that now is because pensions are going away. A lot of people are taking time putting money in their 401k. I tell people, company has a 401k, at least put in what they are putting in, so you can match whatever it is you're putting in, so you can double your money pretty fast to accomplish what you're trying to get accomplished.
Another thing is you can get gifts too. A lot of people don't think about that as being an option. But your rich uncle.
So I tell you,
right.
My thing is, it's a
we can't hear.
Can. But you know what? I think when people are, Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You are a little
low.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah. I tell people, I said, that's why I say get that 2-year period, because then you're able to start saving up money for that, because what I found is that when people go on a budget, 3 to 6 months, it becomes a game to them. And it's almost like, how much more can I save? How much more can I, put aside? How much do I need? Okay, I need about $8,000. Okay, I can put this amount aside. I've actually had one people to go out and get a part-time job and take that, just dump it all in there so that they want. But like I said, you have to know how big of a drive you have to accomplish the things that you want to get accomplished.
Okay. All right. So we did have a little delay, but one last question. Lisa, the question is there a max on how much someone can gift you?
I don't think there's a max on it. I mean, like there's a max for seller contributions. There's a 6% max for FHA, but I don't think it's a max for gifting. So what happened is actually you could have somebody gift the entire amount that you need for your transaction, like whatever it is that you need to close with or whatever. That whole amount can be a gift. So there's no max on it. Good question though. KO.
Good. Yeah. All right. Well, we're wrapping up our little 30 minutes, and it's exciting for us to come every week to give you all some additional information. Every week I learn something new. Yeah. Lisa, I'm sure you do too, right? And
maybe just a little.
Yeah. She learned something too. She learns something too every time. So, but it's great. It's great to educate our guests and let them know. Ms. Beverly, we so excited for you to join us today, and we definitely want you to come back another time.
Okay.
So, all right.
And if it's in February, you need to wear your dashiki. I'm just saying.
I gotta pull out my African American.
Yeah, would you please? How about it? I can't be the only one representing.
But we have to represent this month. So thanks everybody. It's another Water Cooler Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll be back again next week.
All right.
Thank you all for tuning in.
All right. Thank you.